Hello everyone, Damien here. The new update for an Izekai game. And today we're going to be going over a few things that I did with the code because I made an inventory system. There's quite a few scripts going on here. And what things that helped with that. I go over using the inventory system, how to make an item and a new inventory, and then how to troubleshoot it when things go wrong. I'll talk about the art direction and a little more about the overall feel of what I want the game to be like. So, to start off with, this coding thing that I really enjoyed with the video I was following. I can't remember the guy's name right now. I'll probably link it, put it in the description so I can remember where it was later. Whenever you have something that, for example, let's go, because there's lots of different scripts and stuff. So if I want to find out where value was done, I click on a right click and I go to definition. It'll take me to the attribute class where it is setting the value. So that way I don't have to go and find wherever that is set. I can just find it easily. And right, next step, make an item. So I'm back over into Unity. All of the items are held inside here. Each item is found in here. Right click, create, inventory system, items, and you choose which one you want. So let's make an equipment. So we name it. Let's go boots. Already got a few boots in there, but just for example's sake, we'll be able to pick out from all the different UI items, the inventory icons that I made here, by switching this to 2D and UI, and then clicking on the sprite editor. That took me a little while to figure out, because then that makes it so you can switch which things are where. So back to our boots. We click on boot, and I named it, so I can make iron boots or leather boots. Let's make iron boots. So I can add a description, not for kicking. And then from there, add a few buffs, and these are added in, so when you equip them, they'll give them to you. So strength, dexterity, give a different range, stuff like that. And negative numbers also worked as well, so I don't have to worry about that as much. It's quite a big range, but whatever. Purely example purposes only. When adding a new item, I think the best practice here will be taking all of this, taking it out, removing them all, and then replacing them with new objects. This being because each and every single one is given a different ID, and further on, I plan on using said ID number to be able to have an array of game objects, to then when you because currently when you run the game, it'll take some time. Yep. Pick things up. It just throws it away. Just garbages it. So instead of just throwing it away like that, it'll drop it on the ground because that's what you expect. So an array, go with that. Which body falls down to the ground, whole shebang. Alright, so that's how to make an object and how to get its ID and what my plans are with the items. So let's just delete the object that we made now, because we didn't connect it to anything. Alright, new inventory. The inventories will be used for NPCs having no, I don't know, because with NPCs I feel like it'll be best to have it so you walk into the shop, you look at the item, you buy it, and it's a one-time purchase, unless it's something you could buy over and over again, and it'll just come back after you purchase it in. The other thing that will need an inventory, however, are chests. So, same thing here, create inventory, chest. So you get to pick how many slots it is, and it needs the database, because the database has all of the game objects in there, which allows you to move objects around and whatnot. And if you want it to be saved, you have to have a save path and whatnot. But I feel like I might end up opting out for a boolean to see whether or not you've interacted with it, and if it keeps the objects in there or not, or if it just clears it after you leave. Which is a function here, which was added in the code in the inventory object, and that was, where is it? System is serializable? No, context menu, because using context menu makes it so you can use this function inside of Unity, so you can just activate it from there. Makes it easy. All right. Okay. So it's a bit of how to make an inventory, because then you can go from here. Different allowed items, that's more like for the equipment. Which ones are allowed in there, which ones aren't allowed in there. Also made it so that everything updates. Okay. I'll have to figure out how to add items to a chest. Because there's a function for that and all that. So, and made it so you can get money. But of course, you're too low. Why wouldn't you be? Yep, picked it up. I have 100 gold now. Hooray. And pick up other things. And it has all this. You can equip things. Missed. Unless you were able to. It was messing with it earlier. One second. Okay. Equipment. I had a load. Odd. Wait, because I had a pause. Accuracy shall show up like this. All right. So first step here, let's get rid of this chest here. Nothing is wrong here. It's all got the same number. 5 there, 5 here. It's got these 5. And they're all in reference to the different slots. That's all set up right. Let's go to the prefab. let's try that. Maybe that was the whole problem. And I found that sometimes this is an issue as well. Starting out with the inventory open. Alright. Quick check here. Yeah, things glitched out a little. Swapping's working. So a problem I had earlier was when the inventory objects, yeah, in the equipment inventory and the item inventory were the same, but they were not working. Let's try that. Maybe now I'll be able to equip things just because of that. Because I was working on making that prettier as well. It could be a fact that the items inside of here have been reset. Yep. So the types here, they need to be set to a specific type for you to be able to put the items into wherever they belong. So your shield, your weapon. Save that. Go back on in. And I'm sure it'll work now. And you'll be able to see. Yeah, let's pick up. There's lots of items. There you are, my sword. That's what I wanted to changed. No, I can't move it. So what's going on here? This one looks of it, I'm not able to interact with it. Because sometimes it just resets all of these. I must have done that when I added the item. That's the shield sprite, the one I was trying to put on earlier. Need to make a slot for the gloves. Do this real quick. I'll just pretend those are shields for now. So as you can tell, they've got different stats depending on which one. I'm planning on adding in the ring and the gloves as objects later on, which will be good. This video will probably end up being a longer one, which I don't mind. More info for me later down the line. So, clean this out. And then lock this. Put all these bad boys in. Save that. Check to see they still have their types. Yep. Play. I need to check the objects to see if they still can take items. So that works just fine. So here. that's the right one. That's the right one as well. This was working yesterday when I tried it out. And all of the stuff was updating as well, and the player resources. For all this to be able to level up and stuff like that as well. So it's not throwing any errors, which makes me wonder whether or not, like on drag and or whether or not it's dragging onto the player. So where that is happening is inside of user interface. Mouse data interface is over. We can have that be in a update function here. Mouse data dot interface mouse is over. We'll just have that print. So now we'll know constantly where our mouse is and which interface it is over. So if it's getting onto the player equipment interface, or maybe it's having issues because this actually extends this way. And that overlaps as well. We'll see. Inventory screen still thinks it's on the inventory screen. It's not tough. On thinks it's all inventory screen. Down here, is it? That's what I'm seeing. So for some reason, it thinks our equipment screen is our inventory screen. So it must be in the static script. Okay. Move this a bit away. I'll take this out of here. Oops. For some odd reason, up is not above, down is above. I don't get it. There we go. There. So it has something to do with the placement of the inventory itself inside here. So maybe if we put it down here, it won't interfere. Which I find to be the strangest. I'm sure if somebody else knows, they'll be able to tell me. Okay. Because then this isn't really an inventory screen. It's the giving a null. So, click and drag. That's on. I'm going to check off of here. Where does it make the item? No, I deleted that. Never mind. If only there was like a keyboard stroke for like game pause. Anyway, so that's how I fixed that. So figured out where it was coming from, potential fixes, changing the database, getting that to work. I think that comes with just adding items. You have to change all the types. That might have to do with, honestly, this script. On awake, it says what type it is. So get rid of that. Just on awake, do nothing. So when you create a new game asset, it doesn't go through and update them all. It'll just keep them the way they're supposed to be. Alright, and another thing I need to work on is using the food items. Just taking quick notes. Another thing that needs to happen. So, from there, I've made inventory items, shown how to make a new inventory and how to connect it together. Then this goes on top of a script like this over here. Static interface, put the inventory on there, puts it all together for you. This number of slots for a static inventory needs to match this number. Because, as I know, arrays usually start with 0. So 0, first one, second, third, fourth, and fifth, which is a bit strange if you don't do code stuff. Like it's one less number because it starts with 0. So that's how I troubleshooted that. The art direction, as far as that is going, I found that when playing in the original Agrunter, that it wasn't working quite so well. So I made this little dragon skull guy. Probably couldn't quite tell when you were running around on him. But this is basically where the island's going to be. It's going to be in the void because it's between worlds, which I feel like just makes more story sense, if that makes a whole bunch of sense. Alright, let's get rid of this. Okay. So added in new skybox. Went through, did all of the art for all the different icons. That took a while to draw all those. And following the videos. It took a while, but I think it was worth it because of a better understanding of how it works. And yeah. As far as this goes, I tried fixing it so that way you could like not have the image be over it. But the way the code is written is that it has to be on top of it, if that makes sense. So, art direction, make it, you know, anime-esque, like you're in an anime show. It's kind of what I'm going for here. And 3 different, as far as the overall feel of the game, I want there to be 3 distinct different play styles. Like you can either be like a merchant going around just selling and buying things in different places, and it has different prices here and there. And you know, the whole it's more expensive to buy things out of season than in season because I'm going to add days, months, years, and that'll affect the price of things. So merchant, king, and adventurer. So for the king's going to live here in the between worlds and make things, have shops, have portals from other dimensions to be able to get customers to come in here. You can set up different shops. You can, I'm sure, different decoration things as well. And you gain money from having the shops that are out, and you gain materials because I'm going to have stuff floating through the void and little nets that'll be caught, and then they'll be put into like a little grinder, and then it'll just give you materials, and you'll have a little stockpile and stuff like that. And so you're basically a king ruling a kingdom, and the main stats there will be how happy everybody is and how well fed everyone is. So be able to, like, I don't know, lay out food, crops. And the number one thing that I was planning on doing is that everybody has the same general, like, build plot for everybody. So that way they have all the same stuff. But some of the things like the shops and the material gatherers will have, you can just continuously upgrade those so you can be more geared towards gathering materials for more upgrades and use those to possibly make weapons or stuff like that, and kind of get that intertwined bit, and then maybe make trade deals with other kingdoms and or other kings. And so, like, every month you lose 2,000 of your food, but they gives you like good equipment or special deals on their stuff every time you go buy from him. Yeah, things have been a little tiring having kids stay up late. Anyway, so the overall feel of that, so you're a king, you're in charge, you gotta help everybody. And then adventurer. So I want the adventurers to be able to make their own quests and submit them to the guild, and then have those be completed. I guess it's more of like a king thing, but it's part of going on quests and being a part of a party as part of being an adventurer. I think sounds like a really cool idea. I don't know how hard that'll be, but try to get that to work. Might not, depending on how hard like nav meshes and like player AI and stuff like that. So, and being able to adventure to different worlds. So here in a Grunter will be basically the hub in between everything else. So the between worlds, because agro, like agriculture, Latin, and then inter for like in between. So having that, I think honestly it's going to end up sitting like here on the top of the dragon's head or something like that, or at the bottom of his nose. It'll have 4 keys to it, and I think I might just make them say 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Japanese for each one, and have 4 options, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 4 different rows. And because I've been learning Japanese, and actually it's really intuitive how they write it. It's just lines. 1 line is 1, 2 lines is 2, 3 lines is 3. I haven't got past that yet. I need to look it up. Whatever. So given all those, 4 factorial, or 4 slots with 4 different options, gives us 256 different possible worlds for the player to visit, which to start off with I think that's a bit much. So we'll stick with, instead of it using a combination of like the 4 different options, it's like addition for the 4 different options. So we get 16 different worlds to begin out with. For if you want to begin adventure and go adventure and check everything out, you know? So there's that. Honestly, I don't think 256 different world options is that far out there. And including one that takes you back to the start of the game, which I think would be intriguing. So you have all your new skills and abilities, but you're in the start of the game. Sure, the player will still die, and you'll be able to make it back and stuff like that, and have problems that might need to be solved in said different worlds. It just reminds me of like an anime I was watching a while ago. I can't remember the name. Where they go through different portals and there's different solves, and they solve something and get a unique item. Which, honestly, I think I'll do too. They call them power holdovers in the game, in the anime. I don't know if that helps. I'm sure I'll remember and like write it down in a comment or something. Anyway, so the overall feel, I kind of just wanted you to feel like you're in an anime, that you have some control over the events that happen. So yeah, if you have any questions about it, I am more willing to ask. If there's something that needs to be explained a little better, that'll be wonderful as well. And thanks a lot. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye now.